Hello, and welcome to This War of Mine. This weekend I was bored, and I decided to look through my Steam list for games that I could play, and I found this one. It got pretty good reviews, and since it's been out I completely forgot about it, and I figured why not show why people should give this game a go. So, what is this game? It is a 2D survival sim-like game in where you have a group of survivors and you're tasked with the situation of trying to survive a war that you're living in. Now to do that, you have to scavenge, find things that you need throughout the night, and make sure that you have enough food for your survivors, make sure they don't get depressed and all sorts of things. So as you can see here, this is where you begin. You always get this house. I believe the rooms might change up a little bit, but more or less this is what you get. As you can see, I have 4 people here. This game is completely mouse driven, and there is no sort of keyboard input needed at all. So, what do? Well, for starters, you start off with down here, which is a stove. Now, I made this stove from a bench, but let me show you the bench here. This is an upgraded bench, so you won't have all these selections to start with, but you can make a bed, a chair, a stove, a radio, all sorts of basic things when you immediately start out, including a metal workshop. All of these things need components. For example, you see down here we need components, wood, parts. All of them need separate things. And to find those things, you have to go out at night and try to find these things, which can involve getting into fights with people, although the combat is slightly basic, and then coming back in the morning, doing what you have to do to make sure you have enough water, all that sorts of thing, and yeah. So, for example, I made Bruno make a little bowl of food, which is more hunger-filling than usually just eating food raw. And then we can do all sorts of things, like I have down here a moonshine creation, I guess, area. And here you can make moonshine, and this is useful for trading. You need sugar, clean water, fuel, etc. And this is good for trading when people want alcohol, and it'll often get you more in return. So it's a good thing to try to make this possibly early on, but it's up to you, really. So here I have a guy. Every once in a while, this guy comes around and wants to trade with you. Other people will happen to cross your little shelter, I suppose, and they'll give you situations like, oh, I need help boarding up my house, and then you can go help boarding up their house, but in the meantime you'll lose that character and won't be able to play him for maybe up to 2 days, is the max I've seen anyway. But anyway, for trading, it's quite simple. He has items, you have items, you just choose, and then he'll say, oh, it's not good enough, or stuff along those lines. And then, yeah, that's essentially all there is to the trading. It's not terribly thorough, I suppose, but it gets the job done. Now, what else do you do in this game? Well, for starters, if we go around, you'll see that I have a furnace over here, and since it's 8 degrees out, we should keep the furnace full of fuel, so that it'll keep the house a little warmer. And there are other seasons like fall and spring, but as it stands, this is getting on to winter, probably fall-ish time. As far as I'm aware, you start off in summer. So, anyway, I'm just going to get Katya over here to go and trade with this guy, because her skill, as you can see in the bottom there, was bargaining skills, which means that she can get more out of less. So hopefully she can get this guy to give us what we want without giving up too much of what we have. And I'll have to do that, but that's okay, because I need all the food I can get. So, that's essentially all you do during the day, is you upgrade your house building place, you board up all the windows as you can to avoid getting raided, you build a rainwater collector to collect the rainwater so you don't run out of water. And yeah, there's not a heck of a lot to this daytime segment, but what there is, it's quite compelling, I'll say. And yeah, you get to watch your people do whatever they want. Sometimes they'll stop and read a book if you have a book. They'll smoke cigarettes, and that calms them down, avoids them getting too depressed, and so on and so forth. Now, if we are to go over to the night cycle, you'll see that as soon as it starts, I'll just end this day real quick. I shouldn't, but I'm gonna. So, here we go. This is your start of the night cycle. Now, over on the left, you can see you got your people here. You can choose who's gonna guard. Preferably people who are trained in combat can guard. And then, if somebody's tired, hopefully they have a bed to sleep in at night, so that they can get a good night's rest. They can sleep on the floors, but it's preferable that they sleep in a bed. And then you choose whoever you want to scavenge. I usually choose someone with the higher backpack, so you can carry more stuff. And let's go visit a place. Now, you don't start off with all these places the first night, but these unlock with time, and sometimes if there's a fight going on, you won't be able to reach them. Like the whole middle section here, I wasn't able to access for probably 5 or 6 days due to fighting. So let's go and visit this place here. Now there's a chance of military patrols, but we'll take that chance. You can choose to take stuff with you on your outing, like for example if you make tools at the workshop, like a shovel, a pick, what have you, you can take it with you. I typically don't bring anything unless I've gone the night before and I realize, oh, okay, I need that. So, this is nighttime. You have the choice of scavenge, which is what you're in to start with, or fists. Now, fists is fighting, so as you can see, you can click this button here, it'll take you into cover, and then so on and so forth. It's a fairly basic system, and all you do is click to attack people. And you can't scavenge in that mode. But it gets the job done. It really says to you that you should be sneaking rather than fighting. Because you don't want to lose your people, and you don't want them injured either. So, if you're going to fight someone, you should make sure that you can kill them without taking too much harm. Otherwise, you may not have the supplies necessary to make sure that they don't die within a few days, or maybe 10 days or 20 days. Like in my first playthrough, I had Katya here going around and scavenging, but she came across a few enemies with guns, so I had to make her kill them. But Bruno, in the morning, when he found out, got so depressed he sat in bed for, I believe, like 20 days. Too depressed to do anything, so I had to have people bring him food so that he wouldn't die. But in the end, he ended up hanging himself. So, you see the sort of thing. It's sort of like a management game in that way, that you have to manage these people. But, more or less, this is what you do. You just go around finding supplies, and in the morning, you try to make as much as you can with those and survive another day. That's why I really like this game. I think it's really simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It's by no means easy. It's quite complex in ways, because you have to manage so many little things that you could end up missing something, and somebody could just get tipped over the edge, and in the morning get a little news about how they hung themselves. It's quite a dark game, but I think it's definitely worth a go, because you're going to remember it. The soundtrack to the game is, in my mind, great, especially during the day. It's really calm and relaxing, and I think that really helps. But yeah, that's what there is to the game. If you are bored or trying to find another game to play, go right ahead and give this one a go. Thanks for watching, and have fun gaming.